research particularly to find out what is some novel thing in their area, particularly say like Shadab has mentioned regarding the controlling of the mosquito, or say Kishore has discussed about the. So if you see the research, when we talk about the research, we have all these four WH question in front of us, that what is or why we are doing all these things, what are they, when and where these things can be done or can be say uh, work out. So if you see any research, this research is with a very specific objectives, that is whatever your objectives are there, that should be a very specified. Then whatever your outcomes are there, definitely as Shadab has discussed, that is going to come with some mosquito repellent activity or some product showing such activity, or some goal that is achievable or attainable. And in real sense, whatever the research we are doing, it should be in a realistic manner. At the same time, our research is to be in a time bound frame, or which is to be achievable in a specified time and period. Because if you are going to do the research for a longer duration, say if it is going to take coming next 10 years, so are you going to work in the same problem? If suppose it's happened that the research is going to be prolonged for next 5 years or for 10 years, is anybody willing to continue their research?
Yes,
Do you
sir,
got my question?
absolutely. Yes, sir, because once we are taking we are finding the research problem based on the review of literature, the previous work which is done by the other people, and which is giving the whether it is positive way or negative way. We have to think in both way, and then we have to take it. That's why we have to
No, no,
work
no.
on the continuous.
No, Kishore, I agree with you, but my question is that by chance, suppose now you had completed last 1.5 year in doing this your research, okay, and then suppose in coming 2.5 year you are going to submit your thesis, but suppose by chance it happens that if the time limit is going to extend for next 4 or 5 years, so, are you going to complete, or are you going to continue your research again, or the same research you are going to continue? My question is that.
No, sir, time limit is important.
Yes. See, friends, every one of us are in hurry to complete our research or to complete our project. And that's why if you see in any of the research nowadays, I'm talking about nowadays research, I'm not talking about the research which has been carried over earlier. Because earlier people, they used to work for minimum 5 to 7 years, and then the thesis or the degree is being awarded. But nowadays, there is a trend to wind up the research in a very limited or in a very stipulated time, and to get the degree. So, this is the first thing that is most important, or most of the time we are lacking behind. If you see the this slide will give you the idea that in the record of recorded research in 1708, where nobody was going for the PhD, a very few number was there. Then 1786, the number was a little bit higher, and in 1828, 1888, 1948, till independence, the people, particularly from our region, were lagging in this area. But if you see, after 1948 onwards to till 2008, there is a very large, say, enormous people. They are doing the research, or they are doing the PhD. This data is for the PhD enrolled in last 300 years. And if you see it, that in last 50 years, the number has increased tremendously. You will come to know that the number has increased in such a very high, numbers, that it has jumped 50% since 2011. So, if you see that earlier in 1948 or after up to 2008, the number was not that much very high, but after 2011 the number has rapidly, or it has gained in a very high number. See, particularly in the Maharashtra, the report says that the PhD enrollment is 36%, whereas the PG is by 25%. So, if you see the number of students enrolling for the post graduation is less, whereas the number of students enrolling for the PhD is more. And this is how the trend is changing. And this is the data which is already published by All India Survey, Institutional Survey on Higher Education in 2019 1920 report. It is already there. If you see, still there is a continuous enrichment, and around, it is said that around 2 lakh PhD are done through the during last 2 years. So the number has rapidly increased, and this is the recent data, that is the Ministry of Education has given the data on AISCH data, that is 2021-22. The total PhD enrollment has increased 81.2% in 2020-21-22, that is 2,13,000, and earlier it was 1,17,000 in 2014. So almost you will find that the people, they are going against this rat race. Now you will surprise to know, or you will say that we all are doing the PhD. Even myself, I had done the PhD. Even your coordinator Digambar Ahire sir, he has also done his doctorate and everything. Fine, everybody is having a right to go for that. And if I am saying at the beginning of my lecture that I am showing you the data, that why this worst thing has happened. Friends, I would like to focus on some of the areas which is mostly neglected while doing the research. Not only the research, but the publishing the research, even getting the funds from the various organizations and everything. This is the data. This shows that the PhD in level PhD in 2017-18 to the 2020-21, there is a 7.1% gross compound annual growth rate is there, whereas very less is there in the diploma and undergraduate and as well as the postgraduate. Why this is happening? This is happening because everyone of us are against getting the degree and simultaneously getting a job. Because if you have the PhD, in many cases or in many areas, we have the flexibility that along with our basic qualification for the lecturership, that is the either you have to qualify NET or SET examination, and along with that, if you have the additional degree, that is a PhD, definitely you are going to get the, or you are having a chance of getting a job, a secure job. And that's why there is a tendency to move or to go to the this degree. Simultaneously, there are a lot of grants which are available in the various sector. The state government is giving the grant, the central government is giving the grant. Along with that, there are so many funding agencies are there, and that's why the number has increased tremendously. And this is how the increase in the number. But friends, I would like to share with you that there is this 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 slide will give you the idea that the number of students enroll in the PhD courses apart from the state university or the central university, the private universities number is much higher. And why this is, that is again a question, because if you see the private universities, all these numbers, all this is already published data. That is already you will come to know that almost the private universities, they are in having a high enrollment in the PhD. At the same time, they are say the costing or the cost effectiveness of the PhD in these such universities or such institutions and the state in institutions is a vast difference is there in the costing of the PhD course also. So to all these, there are some, now the UGC has made some say regulations and has come with the some you might be knowing the UGC care list journal, which are approved by these university grant commissions, and that is first of all to promote the quality research, academic integrity and the publications, to prevent the publications in the dubious or predatory or substandard journal, and to maintain the reference, that is the UGC care list of a quality journal. Why this is there? Because you might be knowing, or some of you might have come across the predatory journals, which are charging some amount and they are publishing our findings. Nobody knows that who is the publisher, or the website is not authenticate, and so many things are there. Even the data or the authenticity of the data is not also in a very good manner. But still, the people are going against this rat race, and they are doing this. And that's why this consortium of academic and research ethics, the University Grant Commission, they had formulated all these things. You will surprise to see that on this website, on the web page, you will get the two important alerts. And first alert is a list of clone journal UGC Care Group 1. And the second alert is the list of clone journal UGC Care Group 2. Friends, it is a very pity situation that the well reputed journals are now being cloned by some agencies, some organizations, or some individuals, and they are publishing our findings in such journals by taking some processing charges or some say page charges or the maintenance charges of the website, and they are publishing their data. And such people and the list of such journal is a very high. In the today's approved UGC list, there are in science, we have 486 journals, in social science 453, in arts 490, multidisciplinary 46, and Indian languages 376. But if you see the list of clone journal, there are 76 journals. They are cloned. Whereas in the second UGC care list, there are 111 journals. That means almost there are 187 journals which are cloned. Out of these journals, 187 journals are being cloned, and the data is They're present on the website of the UGC care list. And why this is happening? This is happening because of the very important thing that the people who are doing these such things, they are lacking or they are missing the word ethics, because the ethics is the first and foremost thing that is coming along with the philosophy, because the word ethics is derived from the Greek word ethos, which means the character or a conduct, and the ethics is also called as a moral philosophy or the philosophical thinking about the morality. As we know that all of us, which we are going to be, all we you all which who are being enrolled in this course, they are going to get the degree that is a doctor of philosophy, either in the botany, either in the zoology, in the environmental science, or in any of the subject of your post graduation. You are going to get that degree. So the philosophy behind that is the term, or in what way you are going to have, or you are going to say, you had proposed already the hypothesis, and in what way you are going to come with the findings of your hypothesis, or you are going to prove your hypothesis. So the term moral and ethics are often used as equivalent to the right or good, as opposed as an immoral and unethical. So the scope of the ethics is which mainly concern with the principles or the causes of the actions, as what are the obligation is common to all, what is a good act, the sense and the duty and the responsibility, and the responsibility of the individual as well as the responsibility of the society. So all this comes under the scope of the ethics. So if you see the scope of the ethics, which comes with all these social, moral, political, and religious. Friends, you cannot separate the ethics with any of these things. The ethics is the term which is a total integration of all the things involved in this. It is not like that it is separate for the social or separate for the moral or for the ethical. It is an integrated part. And that's why if you see that you cannot separate the ethics from the all other areas of our say either society or our moral thinking or our religious say understanding or even the political bond. So it is like the ecological system that we are in the ecosphere, that all researcher and all the other areas like the social, moral, religious and political boundaries, they form these ecosystems or the ecological system. So these are the inseparable part of our research, or it is an inseparable part of our finding or the. So the research ethics, or this is the entire, because our research is based upon the principle, upon the reliability, the trust, the responsibility, the choice, behavior, relationship, and the morality. And if you remove any of these things from your research, maybe a principle, maybe the reliability, or the behavior, or even the morality, the ethics is joining all these things together in a one compartment. And based upon that, finally, it is coming in the form of research. You can call it either in the form of a research paper, publication or the research report or in the form of a thesis. But if you remove the ethics from that, the entire building is going to collapse. If you remove all the, if you just remove any of these things, particularly the ethics from that, the entire system is going to collapse. And this is why, or this is how, the ethics is very, very important, because ethics is from the person to the society, and the rules are the means, and whenever they are the means, they must be end or a goal as well. As we know, the man is a social animal, as the Aristotle has said. Even we know there is a social behavior in all the animals, like the honeybees or the elephant herd or the herd of the deer, or even in the small microorganism, there is also a social behavior. So all these organisms, they are having some societal social behavior, but we treat human as the ethical, or the human as a social animal. So for this, there are some code and the policies for the research ethics. You can get all this information available on the websites, that is the National Health Institution of the Health, National Science Foundation, Food and Drug Administration, Environmental Protection Act. All these, every organization, they have the codes and the policies for their research. Even the CSIR, ICR, DBT, DST, or even the UGC, every organization, they have the code of ethics, code of conducts, and the policies for doing the research or for doing the all this activity. So the basic principle of the research ethics lies in the first left side, that is honesty, objectivity, integrity, carefulness, and openness. See, once you are honest with your research or with your topic, definitely you will be focused to your objectivity. Definitely it will have the integrity along with it. And if you are doing all these things, if you are doing these things with a very carefulness, and if you are publishing your data in the openness without hiding any such things, then it will become a good research. The good research is not coming only based upon the, say, objectivity, that yes, I have a very good objective, but how you fulfill your objective, that is very important. It is not just like that the I am doing the research in variety of the ways and compiling the data from variety of sources and presenting it. It's not like that. You have to be integrate with your subject, with your observations and with your findings. And then if you make it in a very carefulness, then and then your research will be a very good research. So first of all, what do we do? We have to respect for the intellectual property. Confidentiality. Intellectual property is a very important thing. Friends, there are a lot of people, they are working in the field of the biological science. I know that most of the people from the plant science or even from the animal science and the microbial and from the microbiology, the information is taken from the people, say like a layman. He is the farmers, they are very clever. The people who are living in the forest, or particularly in the area, in the forest area, they are doing they are using the plant material for the for healing some of the diseases. And we researcher, we are very smart. We go in the field, collect the material, identify the material, and that material is being either it is being patented or it is tested and be patented, and so on things are there. But real thing is that it is the property of that people who are residing or who are holding this knowledge for the traditionals, for the traditions. So one have to be a very, very crucial that one have to respect the intellectual property. Whoever has given the idea, we have to respect that people with that person or that society. And for that purpose, nowadays the IPR is very is being made compulsory while finding while filing your patent. The scrutiny is being performed, and then the patent is being granted. Confidentiality is again the second thing while doing the research, because one should be very confident about the research, that what research I am doing is up to the mark or in the very confident way. The third thing, that is one should respect for the colleagues. It is not happening nowadays, because earlier days there was a group of the people working together. Now every individual is working individually and is saying that no, what work I am doing is the only work. The rest of the people, they are doing some foolish things. And this is happening because this is the human tendency, friends. This is the tendency. This is human tendency. It is not like that one have to respect, because our colleagues, whatever the work they are doing, the same work or some modification in that work we are doing. We are not directly say because we are referring to some work, the earlier published literature, and then based upon that we are making our hypothesis. We are defining our objectives. So whatever the hypothesis, whatever the objective, it is based upon the earlier work, and that's why one have to respect our colleagues. The colleagues is not like that the neighbor, the colleague who is working in my lab. It may be the person who has worked earlier and the same work you are continuing. So he is going to become your colleague. It is not like that the colleague you working, the two or three people working in the same lab are the colleague. The colleague, the meaning of the colleague is the people who had already working in the same area. They are the colleagues. One should interact with each other, and if you are going to share our result with them, definitely the exchange of the idea or exchange of the thought will give you some new ideas, new thinking, and definitely that will enrich our research. The fourth thing, that is non-discrimination. Generally, it happens that it is the ability or it is the tendency that we discriminate the work of the others. All the time we say that no, we are superior and the other one might be inferior or like that. But friends, it is not like that. One should not discriminate, because if the discrimination is there, there is the comparison. And as the comparison is there, comparison may be in a variety of the things. Comparison may be with respect to the available infrastructure facilities in the laboratories. The comparison may be with respect to the mode of the communication. Some people are communicating in the universal language like English. Some people are communicating in their own language, and likewise the discrimination is going to be there. So do not discriminate. There should be a non-discrimination while doing the research. And the very important point, that is the social responsibility. Friends, one have to take the social responsibility. Until and unless we are not taking the social responsibility, the research is not of any use. You are doing the research, but if your research is not going to the society, is not giving to the society, it is of no use. Because what the funding we are getting, what the infrastructure facility we are getting, all these things we are getting through the social responsibility only. Because the people, they are paying the tax, and in return we are getting the grant. So this is the taxpayers' money, and definitely the taxpayers' money should be utilized in a proper manner. because the money or the fund which are going to be there coming to the various say funding agencies, whether it is the DST, DBT, or UGC, CSR, or all the such funding agency. This funding agency, they are giving the funds, and this fund is being collected from the ordinary people who are giving the tax or who are the paying the tax. So definitely, it is our social responsibility to pay back in a proper manner, and this is how. Sorry, this is how one have to fulfill our social responsibility.